Hello, guys. Can you hear me? Hope everything is working well. I had some issues before. Sorry that I had to restart the stream. For some reason, it didn't really get to YouTube. Do you let me know if you can hear me well, though? Hello, hi Rudy time. So yeah, I don't know how, if you heard it, but I had to restart the stream. So for some reason, um, everything was set up in OBS, but it didn't get to YouTube for some reason. So, but now it should be working. So this is not the stream that I had planned for today originally, but yeah, so I decided to do it spontaneously because we do have a game going on right now, or in a bit actually, between Gonzo and Farid for Steel Division League. So as the title says. So let's see what happens here. You can see everything well too? I guess no answer is a good thing as well. Or maybe it's just the latency, I don't know. So yeah, let's see if it's already there. Don't see it yet, so I guess we have to wait a little bit. So for I guess real time because I know that you probably don't get much out of this, Luca. But so far the map that they will be playing is Ostrono, which is interesting. We haven't seen Ostrono, I think, not even once in this league season. Um, it's a terrible map. I'm surprised that Gonzo chose to play it instead of Slutsk, but I guess that's what it is. The bans so far are SSB, Lair, 4th, 80, and second 80, so that's the two US divisions. And then Farid band, 29th tank, 3rd tank, 84 tank, and 10th tank. So all the Soviet tank divisions are gone, I guess. Um, but yeah, so Ostrono, can we get a map layout if we go to custom game and just create one real quick? I guess we can do it that way. Um, quickly take a look at it. There we go. I mean, the thing about Ostrono is, right, you have this central hill and you have a lot of range on either side of that hill to fight around. So and then I mean this open right here and this open right here. So it's probably gonna be more like tank divisions with 2k range is my guess. Um, as to what is gonna be played. Might be wrong. Who knows? But that would be my big assumption. Let's see. We haven't gotten any updates on them, so we have to wait a little bit. Although it should have happened by now. They should have gotten their bans. No, looks like Espresso's gaming playing too. I'm not sure if he's playing for League or not. He's also playing League. He is in I think Division 4, which is surprising because I think he probably should be Div 3, but that's my opinion. Hey, Salafin, how are you? So we're currently waiting for the game to appearing actually. They posted some of their bans so far, but that was like 10 minutes ago, so I would assume that by now they are done with bans. I don't know what they picked though. Just gonna have to wait and see for the game to come up till we can actually see what they're doing. So yeah, this as I just told the others, this was not really the stream that I planned for today. I might still do some practice games and stream those, um, because that was the original plan, but it just so happened that they announced that they play this game. So uh, yeah, must have been. I've never actually played against Gonzo. I have to imagine it was a tough game. You're rooting for Farid. I mean, I tried to be neutral as a caster, but what I would say is, I mean, Farid, I have played against him recently in a tournament, and the guy is in top shape. Let's put it at that. Um, and I mean, he's still actually actively playing. He just plays more team games nowadays, but you can still do this on a high level, right? I mean, I don't know team games too well, so I can't really say how well every part of the skill levels that you can have go back and forth. True, yeah, Gonzo keeps changing names. That also makes a difference there. But I think Gonzo is also more busy with the strike team, I think. But I'm not sure because as I said, or as you said, because of the changing names, it's never really easy to know if you're playing against Gonzo or not. Sometimes you get smacked by a top tier player and you're like, was that Gonzo? Or was that just a guy that has his name and will always have this name? But I guess you never know. I don't know why he feels the need to do that. Is he? I don't know if he's like afraid that people will just leave once they see that it's him. Because I know that some people do it like that as well. I've definitely met Koenig under different names as well. Like he told me afterwards or during the game that he was Koenig, but and if you then go check on the leaderboard or like in the end the rank you see. But yeah, I'll actually quickly have to still not set up. Guess we're gonna be waiting here for a little bit. I actually have to set up something with OBS that didn't make it when I had to restart everything. So just give me a little second. By the way, I have some nice, I hope you should see them now. I have some nice things now. Um, like this one. And so for the start, and then I have made this little thing with some AI help for when I have to like take a quick toilet break or get something to drink or something like that. We go back to this. Yeah, it's a live cast, but the game hasn't started yet. So no, I'm not playing. I'm live casting the other guys. But as I said, it's yeah, really time. It's great, and I don't actually use it that much, but for things like that, yeah, it's insanely useful. Um, but yeah, Jeller, we are waiting. Oh, yeah. So I'm casting a game as it is being played. This is not the stream that I wanted to do, but I might still do a little stream with me practicing in the evening as it was planned. It really depends on how much time I have after this, because I have some things that I still need to do, and this was not really planned because I still need to record some videos for next week. I haven't done that yet, and tomorrow I don't really have that much time. Um, but if I can get one cast out, that should be enough, and then I will still have times for live stream. Maybe 7 or 8 p.m. my time. Um, that should probably still happen. So if any one of you wants to practice a little bit too for League, um, you can also hop in the queue then and try to snipe me, or we can just set up a game, you know. Yeah. Still waiting for them. I haven't heard from them yet. They have started everything. I just never thought of the live casting like this. Yeah, Koenig suggested it to me, and I wanted to do this for quite a while. It's actually why I did the first stream to test everything, set up everything, so that I would be able to do it eventually. And some of the top players also announced their games, but I never just was never around when they played them. I never had time. So this is finally it's gonna happen if they decide to create the game eventually. I still don't know what's happening. They haven't posted any app. Oh no, there we are. So apparently, okay, I'm gonna start with the bands again. So for everyone who's here, they are playing on Astrono. It's all in the Discord, so I'm just reading it to you. Um, they have banned SSB, Lair, 4th US, 2nd US, and then yeah, read time's a bit faster than I am, it looks like. Farid has a band 29th tank, 3rd tank, 84th tank, and 10th tank, so all the Soviet divisions. I'm not the console player of Soviets, I don't know. I know that Farid likes to play them. Gonzo then banned Hermann Göring, 1st SS, 17th SS, and 4th Fallschirmjäger, and Farid banned 26th Panzer, 9th Panzer, Walter, interesting, and 20th Panzer. Although I guess on Nostromo that is a good pick. Yeah, both played or picked Axis. Farid picked 715th, which I think is a solid pick for this map, to be honest. You have good, like the division is not what it used to be, but I think for this map it can still do well. Um, I would argue after a couple of bans, it's still a decent pick, like in general, not for every map necessarily, but in general. So let's see what Gonzo pulls out there. I guess both players are gonna be playing Maverick because this is the classic income. That being said, Ostrono, in my opinion, is not really a Maverick map. We can do it once again where we look at the layout of Ostrono. So just gonna quickly put it up here. So if you look at, I think this is the central line. Yeah, this is the center. Um, like most of these flags are not super easy to grab. You have like this on the hill for the top side. That's not super easy. Oh, true. Yeah, Farid is a big Vanguard player, but on this map, I think Vanguard is pretty risky. I mean, you can do it. In my opinion, it's still more of a balanced map because, like, let's from the top side, this flag is not actually as easy to get as it looks like. It is. You can get it. It is not impossible. These are super annoying. Like if you can make a breakthrough here, yeah, you can grab them. Like this one is the only one that you can easily get. These are much, much harder to get because you have to cross over all the open. It's relatively easy to defend, and you can actually push back. You also don't have much to like to defend this, right? You don't can't set up super nicely. You despise Astrona. Yeah, Astrona, it's I hate that map. It's such a bad map, my opinion, but it is what it is. But yeah, and then for the bottom side, you can get in here early on, and after that, it's much, much harder. So for me, this is like these flags are all much further back, so this is really not a balanced map for me. All right. Rikhmarapana for Gonzo on balance. Let's go. That's going to be a spectacle. But like Rikhmarapana is such a how I mean 715, if we have to be honest, does not have the greatest AA. So in that regard, this is not bad. Although now I think they have the 37 mil that got buffed in availability now, so it's actually a little bit better than it used to be. I mean, I guess you can air spam it to some extent, but other than that, I mean, I guess he doesn't have to fear that many medium tanks. That's certainly a thing that we need to consider. But other than that, I mean, this is going to be challenging. I mean, what's he going to do? Like, he can get fight over this forest part, and then he has to hope that he can get into this forest part and into this forest part. Otherwise, he's screwed. Or like, if he's on the top side, like in here, maybe on up top of the hill. But other than that, like, what's he going to do? I don't know. And Farid picked Maverick. 5 minutes to start. Okay, so let's see if we can see. Have they set up the game yet? No, that's team game. Then we can go to 1v1. We don't see any. Well, and we have Koenig playing versus Spectacular. That's not for League though. That's for regular tournament. So just have to wait till the game is ready, I guess. 5 minutes to start, so I guess they're preparing the divisions right now. I mean, you have to remember, guys, that whenever you play tournaments, it's really worth it to adjust your build of a division to the specific matchup. Um, because like otherwise, I don't know how you do it, but I at least do build my divisions in a way that where they are generally where they're just well rounded, so that if I go into quick play, I can generally fight on every map against every division. In theory, if the division even allows that, but that means that you can't really, sometimes you don't need certain things or you need more of certain things for specific matchups, so that's something to keep in mind there. Yeah, I'm running out of topics to talk about while we are waiting. I should have waited with the stream maybe a little bit, but we all learn. Um, Oh yeah, your pause here as well. Yeah, you will love that pick, right? By the way, I've not watched it yet, but I was very happy to see your line infantry video for the allies now. I still have to finish the Axis one, but I've already noticed that the Axis one is great practice to learn how to pronounce all these names of the Finnish units. Unfortunately, I haven't. I should have watched that in preparation of this now, I guess, so that I could actually pronounce them correctly, but that's a bit too late now. But it was an entertaining one. I had a hard time accepting your judgment on the Romanian 25-point double machine gun infantry, the one that Fifth Cav have, and what's it called? Blindata. But if you compare it to all the other Axis units, it's it's completely fair. It's not it's above the curve if you compare it to Allied units, but not in terms of Axis units, sadly. Maybe can we somehow refresh this like that? No. Well, I guess we have to wait for a little bit longer. Every time I see this Australian, I was like, oh, it's there, and then I realized no, it's 10v10. Any news? Not yet. Oh, I love the Romanian divisions, but I feel like they have suffered really heavily from the meta shift. Like, I really think they used to be. I do like the Western allies now, and I liked them before, but I really like the Romanians too. I'm generally more of an infantry division player, but yeah, it's not as good anymore to be that kind of player, I guess. No, I really love the Romanians. I played them a lot when I started. Maybe not so much in tournaments, but that's mostly because I feel like they are Westerners. Yeah. No, but I think when I started to play in tournaments, I didn't stop playing them so much because I feel like they just weren't that competitive, or maybe not on my skill level. Let's put it that like I'm sure that if you are on a very high level, you know better how to make use of them. But I mean, what makes the Western allies so good, in my opinion, and so easy to play is that they generally have tools for everything. They're well rounded, and the Romanians are not like that. Generally, you have to play around some weaknesses, and that's not always easy. So that's why I feel like for tournaments, I didn't have much success with them, and I didn't really try them all that much. I played them a couple of times. I think I have some tournaments with Corporal 6 Territorial actually, but they are a couple of months ago now, I think. Yeah, they're turned now a bit down now a bit. That's true. But yeah, I mean, truthfully, Western Allied guy has it's not just it could be used as a slur. I feel like some like it if you only know if you only play Western Allies, it's generally you don't have a good reputation for that. I would put it at that. Like that's at least how it felt listening to what people have to say about that. Might not be true, but that was a little bit of my impression there. All right, I hope it starts soon. I'm still getting baited by the astronaut down there. It's a little bit annoying. No news as of yet, but actually that gives me time to really quickly finish the one thing that I still haven't done when I had to. Oh, there we go. There we go. It is here. Let's go, guys. Game will start in 1 minute. Okay. Is this how I usually spectate this map? I don't think I usually spectate it from this angle. We're gonna do it like that. Ah, you want me to read that, Scheller? Yeah, that's true. I mean, they were just never they're just never the most competitive option in that. Even like if you have even with their strength, there's always something that does the same thing better usually. I feel like the Romanians were very good against some Western Allied divisions when it comes to mostly infantry fighting sometimes because their units are above the curve. I would argue. Against Axis, they will still lose, and that felt a bit like the problem for me. But then the other problem is I just don't have enough, like their AT options just are not good enough to deal with the prevalence of half track in Western Allied divisions, and they also don't have that much armor themselves. It can be really tricky, I feel like. That's at least what my impression was. And then you have the general issue um, of the limitations in tanks, right? There's not that many Romanian divisions that are actually like solid to begin with. It's like 8 CAF, 5th CAF, and I think that's probably it. 'Cause the other ones really suffer, and those are very limited in tanks. And the other one has Stück Freeze and not that many either. And like Stück Freeze against Western, like 5th CAF is a great division for short mid to mid range maps, more short range probably. But then you have Stücks as tanks, and that's just one of the worst tank units to have for short range engagement, right? So it just doesn't fit well together, especially with the current meta, is my opinion. Yeah, this is true. I mean, yeah, that's just what it is, yeah. And then like ACAF is kind of the same. It's not that good for close range. Like it's decent. It still has some good units, but it's not CQC dedicated. And you just don't have enough of the AT and light armor or anything to fight around that. I mean, you still have some Horseshoes, you have the Turans, and then you have the Serini for 2k, which is great, but like just to mix together is just a bit odd, and it just doesn't work out that well, I feel like. But I mean, I think these days can still be played after a couple of bans, but it's probably not the best pick. But that's at least my opinion. So I enjoy them, but they're just not that good. I actually love Six Corporal. Like if it had tanks and A phase, and I mean the truth is, if you play against something, I think as a counter pick, it can actually still be solid these days. If what you counter pick against does not have a super strong armor heavy A phase, so that your weak A phase is not that big of a deal. The problem is then why would your opponent first pick a division that kind of has the same weakness, right? That's kind of the issue there. Because after that, it can do well against Sherman divisions. The T-34-85s are actually quite nice, I feel like. I mean, yeah, they're more expensive, but they will win the engagement pretty consistently. So yeah, but let's see. Should start soon. Can we? Oh, just hide the panel. Sorry, guys. I didn't realize it. Okay, so it looks like we have on the bad side. No, it's not actually bad side. No, we do actually. I just didn't realize. Usually, when you cast, I will hide the HUD. Oh no, hiding HUD always hides everything. I just hide the panel. I just made a mistake. That's my bad. No, we can actually see them deploy right now. So we have on the left, we do have Farid, and on the right, we do have Gonzo. So I'm not really sure. So I guess for Gonzo, the goal has to be to push over here because then he can get into this forest bits, and there the combination of his infantry and some AT weapons and all that can actually be useful. Up here, I mean, he will probably try to get into this, but the problem is he has low transport, so Fari can just cover this off, I guess. And this is not, I would say this is probably not the best area to fight over for Rukmarapana. I mean, Farid can just do the classical push hard here in the center and then try to dominate from there. It looks certainly like, as he's not given any orders yet, it looks to me like he's probably doing this. And then we definitely see a focus down south from Gonzo's side, so that's not surprising either. But I mean, so the problem is if you have like on a map like this, if you're very much into CQC, the thing that you have to keep in mind is you can turtle up in these forest parts, but if your opponent managed to take out your AT weapons, you can just move around it then, right? Rookmore opponent does not have Raider trait, as far as I know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't play that often, but I don't think they have. So you can like sit in here and relax, and then as long as there's no AT threats in this forest part, your opponent can just move around it. Now, of course, you will put AT guns in there, but you don't have like unlimited numbers of those, and then they can be taken out, and you don't might not always have one there. There's a great game actually between Step Knight and Yapasa. It's one of my earlier casts where you have basically the same thing where Step Knight pushed hard, and then they chill in like these forest parts. It's like the Great Soviet CQC, but it just doesn't last. You can just move past it. Yeah, true. Some of them have commando, but I think that's only as Yepa said, it's only in the recon tab, so it doesn't really benefit you, and it like doesn't give you any benefits in terms of being able to hold flags. Maybe on commando leader. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, you know better than I do. Hello, Ramail, or I don't know how to pronounce this correctly. Sorry. Um, I don't think we can see. So either they've not queued up any orders, or we can't see them. I don't know. Already is cooked. That's gonna be an interesting one. I'm not so sure if Gonzo is trolling or if he just has a brilliant strategy in mind. I'm very curious to see what what his plan here is. I mean, the one thing that we have to remember, if you can actually manage to force your opponents to have to clear out the forests in able to get into there, then having a strong CQC division is a massive strength, right? Like if you can force your opponent to fight at CQC to actually be able to get anything done, then you are so screwed on the other side. The picks, it is 715 versus Rukhmaripana. Okay, let's see. So Farid actually going strong down south with Luftwaffe. Yeah, he brings the Grenadier 15W. I mean, these are super strong right now. I think they got a price decrease if I'm not mistaken. Gonzo going strong there as well. Defensive over here. Farid pushing aggressive here, and relatively weak here, which is pretty typical on the other side. Okay, looks like Gonzo is trying to get into there. He doesn't even push for it, which makes sense because he's too slow. His transports just are not fast enough. But I mean, the general problem is that you need to get in, and someone also pointed out that all the reinforcement roads for good positions are sometimes on, or often on the wrong side for you to work well, things like that. So it's gonna be painful. I'm surprised at Farid trying to actually contest this though. I mean, I get like if he can lock down like the forest entrances basically, he will be set up well. If he cannot, it's going to be hard. We see a first little engagement here. I mean, Farid is known to be a very aggressive player, so I'm not surprised that he goes a little bit more aggressively here and down south. And then we just have a row of kind of the different types of Grenadier and Panzer Grenadier trying to get in. I might not be able to do it though. Is this the sniper? No, it is not. Can still unload them. The CC, this is the sniper. This is a beast. There's a sniper and an automatic rifle. We have the first Blenheimer, so he's gonna bomb the whole. Wow. I mean, it will unload them. That's for sure. And everything here is disheartened except one, so they will all fall back. Up here we have a little engagement there. So the IG-18s can definitely kill these T-26 and the BAFC. They do have heat shells. The accuracy is not great on them, but they can do it. And south we do see Farid getting in. I mean, he's using these recon light tanks, which is great. The problem that he might run into is, no, we don't actually have them here, but we know that Rukhmaripana has an awful lot of pretty good AT weapons for closer ranges, like Panzerschrecks with chunky squads, and then you do have what they call the Lahitorunta as well. Up north, a single Yakari pushing through. And the BAF could actually push forward. There's nothing here to oppose. There's no AT up here whatsoever. So, in theory, if Gonzo realizes he could probably take some flags up here because there's nothing that can contest that. And IG-33 is also not getting into that position. Down south, Farid having a little lead. The Panzer 2F are pushing through though. I mean, all the T-26s will absolutely shred them. The Vecatine does have AP, so can it take them out? I've never actually seen it as a dedicated AT tool. Oh, wow. It is falling back. This one probably as well. Now the T-26 can move into support. Ratsovaki and Yakari are being forced off, or at least a little bit, but the CC and the CC Kef are doing some work there. Oh no, there we go. The Vecatine goes down. That's sad. In here, I mean, they were bombed, they still managed to get in, and SPW-204 is now coming in to help. 75mm needs to move out of cover to actually be able to support. I guess it's hiding for now because of all this infantry here, right? If he just moves forward, he will get shredded by this, then he's not actually going to get to use that. But yeah, now that he knows that the SPW is here and this is being forced off, he is moving it. And yeah, look at that, the Yakari got in, he will kill that Grenadier 15W, and all of a sudden it's 14-10 for Gonzo. With how things were going down south, I was actually expecting this to be a very, very short game. But all of a sudden, it doesn't look that bad. But the problem is this hull is not super strong, so there we see the reinforcements are coming in, so there's an answer to that. That being said, the BAF could move forward if Gonzo realizes that there's nothing here in terms of AT. It cannot range the Aufklärer Panzer 2. I think it should be able to pen it. What's the... Oh no, we can see it here. 40 armor, 75 pen, there we go. Should be doable. Now some Focke-Wulfs coming in to deal with that sissy. This has the... No, this is just otherwise annoying. But I mean, these are all not dedicated CQC units, so they will still lose against it. We do have another Vecatine. The Vecatine is great, but it's like it's a 20mm still, and if it's far back, it can't do all that much. It's another one of these units. 1311 for Farid now again as he pushes forward into this flag with his Luftwaffejäger. The T-26 will finally run into the Aufklärer. Are they damaged? This one, no. Goes down to the T-26. This one also not. Okay, so the Vecatine didn't actually do that much. It just made it panic. So there's that. There we go, moving back in there. Kai could move forward and kill that Grenadier 15W off. Because that would also let Gonzo know what else is here. But I think he already knows. Now we see a little push up here. So he's built up a little line of defense here with some AT guns and machine guns and the Sissy, of course. And now we do have T-26 pulling some infantry here. So it looks like his plan might be to do another push up here. This is kind of what you have to do with Röchmarapana. I mean, Yapasa can correct me in the comments. But I feel like you have to deploy carefully further back and then build up like support tools for your next push already with your deployment and then push in, because the speed is you're much slower, you can't compete so well with a division that is much faster. That being said, 715 fortunately for Gonzo is not the fastest division there is. Yakari here in the forest, yeah, so basically this forest is now gone for Farid. Like, he's not gonna... As soon as you get Yakari in here, you can't contest that forest. Not with what he has, at least. The Pioneer 15W would eventually be able to do that, I guess. But he needs more of them. And now we have the Latis coming in. There we go. Wait, is that the... That's the AT unit, because there's also a Lati unit in the infantry tab with grenades as well. It's quite nice, actually. I mean, these can just clean everything up here, I guess. The Luftwaffejäger cannot be surrendered, though, so they need to be killed manually, which is annoying. Well, 715 is really not that big of a deal anymore. Like, it is a solid all-around division, but it is not good after the meta change. It really... I don't know. It used to be really strong, and it still is decent. It still is well-rounded. But I feel like it's not that good anymore these days. But that being said, I mean, here, I think for this map specifically, it's definitely a good pick. And in like if you think of it, once you have like a couple of bands, then all the really strong divisions are gone. Then you have divisions that are generally well-rounded and strong, but just not on the top. So having it here is definitely good. Well, and we have people rooting for Gonzo. I try to stay out of this, but like I do have to say it would be crazy if we see Gonzo win with Ruchmarupana. Like that would be absolutely insane. So I kind of hope for this to happen. Even though I don't have like neither of these players is my favorite specifically, but I would love to see that. The Blenheim is being forced off. We have an STKF set 7-1 in now. And the 20 mil recon car. So, oh, gets the kill. That's actually really bad. Because Rook Maripana relies a lot on the Air Force. Like, it is an airspam division after all. We all know this. We have more Vectins pouring in. How many of those did he bring? And south? Oh, look at that. Gonzo making some progress. There's not that much here. There's the one Luftwaffe Jäger here. There's two Pioneer units here. I mean, just the BAFC can actually deal with them relatively easily. And I have the Akari in. But I'm actually like curious to see then is how the Akari will hold up against the Decima. Because, I mean, the Decima are more expensive, if I'm not mistaken. These are 20 points, right? Yeah, they are. The Decima are 25 or 30. But they do have Berettas, of course. Now, the Akari do have Suomis, but if you look at it, this makes it particularly strong. Then it's a bit chunky, but you only have 3 Suomis to do actual damage, and the SVTs are okay, but not that great. And the Berettas are quite strong. I'm not sure if the Suomi or the Beretta is better, to be honest. I don't know. But it's definitely, let's just say they're similar, but the Decima get more Berettas than the Yakari get Suomis, and on top of that, they do have Commando, so that's going to be annoying. So many Western allies they've in lost nation game. Well, this, I mean, that depends a bit. If you some games were Western allies versus Western allies sometimes, then you have people picking Western allies when you shouldn't pick them. That's also another thing. There's also plenty of games where Western allies have won, so they're still quite strong in the current meta. But the Soviets are back on the menu, especially with the latest changes. So that's something you have to keep in. You want, I mean, the elephant. I don't think it's a good call here. And the reason for that is there is no, like, there's nothing here that you can block off by buying an elephant that you couldn't block off with a tiger as well, right? There's no need here to buy an elephant. It just costs a lot. And if your opponent actually manages to get through with AT planes, it will die just the same as a tiger. So it's probably better here to just buy a tiger. Right? There's nothing here that, like, the tanks, the T-26s can't pen either of those tanks, and the regular AT guns won't do either, right? This can't do it, and the 50 mil can't do it either. So I would expect there not to be an elephant, to be honest. Up north, we see, yeah, I mean, Farid Gonzo has nicely set up here, but unfortunately they didn't manage to make any progress, and he was forced back up north by some armor. It looks like it died though, the Panzer II, I guess that's the Panzer II. Oop, there we go, yeah, got killed by the BAFC, I have to imagine, or maybe the AT gun. Out of the two, we have two more T-26 up north. There's still no AT here for Farid, so that might still be able to do some work. And down south, Gonzo has actually grabbed his flag because there was nothing here to defend it from Farid. So right now, he's actually on a 13-11 again. We have reached B phase though, so Farid has unlocked his income. So far, the problem that Farid is running into is that he's really trying hard to fight over these forest patches, and this is not what you want to do. Well, yeah, he can't handle elephants, but he also can't handle tigers. And the tigers are just much cheaper, so there's just no point in buying an elephant if you can get the same work done by a tigers. You see what I mean? That's kind of the issue there. So if it was purely just the fact that like that he like if there's actually a benefit of taking the elephant, that would 100% make sense. Like, for example, if Ruchbarupana are tigers themselves, then you would want to bring the elephant. But if Ruchbarupana can't even kill a tiger, then buying something that's twice as expensive just isn't worth it. Down south, we do see that the first Dachima now coming in, so I'm definitely curious to see how these will perform. The Lati pushing forward as well can deal with the SPW there. We do have a Sturmpanzer 4 in now, and that's going to be tricky. And a Bofors here as well together with a 122. I think this 122 that used to be there died. Oh, the Veckating gets to kill the Focke-Wulf. This is one thing to remember, guys, about these 20 mils, and I've got to feel that in a game yesterday as well against Yapaza. 20 mils are not that good at stopping planes, but they, except for the SDKF Z71 maybe, but they will kill. Like, they are very, very deadly. They just don't have a lot of stopping power. T26 is slowly getting there, and this is why you don't see a lot of fighting over here usually. It's just so annoying for both sides to get reinforcements, right? On the red side you have to go all the way across here. On blue side you have to go either take this route here, which is annoying or potentially even dangerous if red has some control over the hill, and then the other option would be like to go via here, but then you also have to cross the field. It's just so annoying. This map just is not that good. Two Blenheims coming in. There is a BF-109, might be able to get on the back of one of them. Is he? Yeah. Oh, it's overshooting. Speed once again, the game changer. This is so annoying that this can happen, but it just sucks. I mean, I don't know what you're up about with Namus, but double 20 mils often do not stop. Like, they can if they're far enough, like they're close enough, but otherwise they often cannot stop the plane, but they will kill it afterwards. Like right here, for example, the Focke-Wulf can, for example, no, that's both probably not, but like it could probably get somewhere into here, but then as it flies over here, it will get a full burst of a double 20 mil, and that will be deadly. That's generally how it very often happens, and this is especially true for heavy bombers. Like 20 mils do, like a double 20 mils or a single 20 mil will not stop that, but you can kill it if it stays over it for too long. Now we see a push down or up here by Farid, supported by a Tiger. I mean, he can be that ballsy with a Tiger as long as there's no. Actually, do they come in? Where's the pack 38? Yeah, they have the APCR, so it still has to be careful when it's up close. But other than that, the Tiger can just do whatever he wants, basically. Yeah, two, as I said, two can stop things, but you need to be relatively close. But even if they can stop, right? So this, like, if it's positioned like in here, then it still, it might not stop, but it might be deadly. That's the point that I'm trying to make. And that's actually quite dangerous because you might be feeling like, yeah, well, it's back here, so I can be safely approaching. Problem is, you will only later realize that this comes at a cost. Look how far he has pushed on. Yeah, so this is the problem. This is the problem with this map, and this is also why I think that you don't want to be play. Oh, there we go. We get the we get the meme AT plates. It's like a twin plane, I think, with rockets. It's really cheap. It's like 70 points. It won't kill a medium tank, but it can kill some lighter units sometimes in one run if you're really lucky. It's such a meme unit, but if there's no AA, this can actually be super obnoxious. But yeah, so I don't think this is a Maverick map in general. But I mean, Farid's making good progress. Like, he has fought over this at the start, which I think was a major mistake because this is where Ruchmarupan is actually strong. Now he's focusing on just pushing in these open area. Like, there's not much that Ruchmarupan can do to contest the center. Planes and artillery are the tools. But yeah, I mean, you first have to get in with your planes, and the artillery can be counter-battered, especially because Farid has Lorraines. The Lorraines are decently fast firing. If we can have a look. 5 rounds a minute for a 150mm caliber is quite fast. Their accuracy is actually decent, and most importantly, you can just move them so they're not gonna die. You can keep counter battering forever, basically. Marder's in down south now, another 38, pack 38 coming in down here, very far back. So it looks like Gonzo expects some more trouble down here. BF pushing forward should be dealt with by the Marder. BF can potentially kill the Marder though. It fires faster. So I was gonna say if the Marder would have missed, it might have been dead. But fortunately for Farid, this was not the case. Now the Panzergrenadier pushing in. Kev and Ratsuvaki here will, or were able to force this one off, but they will not be able to hold this forever. Not the Decima RDT pushing. Looks like the Decima down south here did die, and is pushing another one in, but that's maybe a bit ballsy. Okay, as I guess the Akari doesn't show himself, the Lati also not, but this could potentially end very, very poorly for Decima if you just like directly drive up to there. Actually, 33 here doing some work. Oh, look at that, 38 here doing some work too. Oh, another plane dies. Don't know what that was. If this was another Blenheim, then it's not looking super good for Gonzo. But Farid, despite his far push, I mean, look how deep he went. Still only has 2 flags. There we go again. The what's it? 153. Look at this thing go. Ah, it's so impressed. Oh yeah, Vekatins up close are crazy when it comes to soft target damage. Like, you walk an infantry unit into that, it's gone. Yeah, we've seen the AP suppression actually at the start. I'm not sure if you were already here then, but we had like 2 Aufklärer Panzer II pushing into 1 Vekatin, but I did only manage to suppress one before it got killed. Sadly. But I mean, it's hard. Oh, look at that. Artillery from Gonzo, this 122 here, killed the SKS at 7-1. So that could be a major problem because this opens up the skies again. So get him at the bottom. Oh, now the lot is moving forward. Now they're getting sniped. Yikes. Yep. Oh, that's unfortunate. Or, I mean, that's not unfortunate. That's kind of deserved, to be honest. I mean, if you just drive up to a forest patch and you know that there's something in there, that's what you get for it. But Dachima here should be able to deal with that Ratsubaki. Now this forest patch will be locked down and it will be difficult. So this is what I would think is I think it's going to be difficult for Gonzo to actually get back in. He can try to do that with planes and artillery, but he needs some way to be able to cross the open safely. That's not going to be super easy. Now, he is setting up his support units and all these kind of things, but you have to be careful, like because you don't have unlimited time, right? So you will eventually have to get back in. So the question is, does he have enough time to achieve that with artillery and planes? Yeah, that's probably what happens, Jella. That's a good point. So really nice there. Now the Marder pushing forward. I mean, what's the pen on this? I think they're just fast firing, but the pen is not that good. 30. Actually, we could probably see it with the... Yeah, we can see it here as well. I mean, it could overpen, could kill that. Not a Blenheim coming in. There's a flag 36 in here, double that, yeah, so it did get the buff. But we do have a counter push here by lots of Yakari, so Farid's pushing potential here is somewhat limited. And the Decima, I mean, as we said, right, great unit in this matchup, I think, for CQC. They can maybe be outspammed by Yakari, but as soon as the Yakari are out of Molotovs, they're probably not that strong anymore. But if we say that they call in 1-for-1, then might not be looking super good for the Decima. But they do have the commando, and that's just so strong. The Lorraines are going for counter battery, it looks like. So this 122 is already dead. These 2 are still alive, but I would expect them to die eventually as well. And now he's unloaded in time while being protected by the Marder 3, but looks like the SPW still got killed by the Lati. And now the Decima, Esploratori, and some Panzergrenadiers are pushing. These guys are absolute beasts. Commando, 8 Berettas, and a Gebalteladon. Do you know if it's possible to not display the front line? Not really. And I don't think you can do it when you're playing. I can't do it when I'm casting. The only other thing I can do is this, and then we don't get to see anything. I mean, we can see like the explosions and the units, I think, still, but it's not very useful to cast. Yes, you don't have an overview over anything. Oh, close fight here, but I think, yeah, the overwhelming numbers of the Akari here will probably do the job, and the Molotovs, of course. Looks like Farid is being forced to fall back, but 15-9 for him now as he grabs these 2 flags and the one here. So he is finally at the 59 that you need as a Maverick, in my opinion. I mean, sometimes you don't, and if you manage to just like turtle in and make it super hard for opponent to get even the slightest chance of getting in, then not having the 59 can be okay, but otherwise you really need. Oh, look at that! He didn't actually double vet them, but it is flag 36, which you can now double vet and get the same availability than he used to have for single vet. But he had deleted that. That's why they had more veterancy. I guess he wanted to have more because, I mean, it's not the worst idea because you know that you are going to get air spammed. The crappy little AT plane is being forced. Probably was called in to try to kill that, but the Kivari can do it as well. I think definitely grenade or something like that. They do, but they're unloaded a little bit too early. Oh no, they're still going to get in. 20 mil would need to move and is now being forced to shoot at, because it automatically targets the plane, so it's basically forced to shoot at that now. But fired on the micro and is moving back, so that's quite nice there. He's paying attention, and it looks like the Sturmpanzer is doing his part of keeping that pinned. The Bofus here is dead. The 122 is close to death as well. Now we do have a PE2 coming in as well. 16-8 now for Farid. Not looking very good for Gonzo. And as we said, in order for Gonzo to be able to push back now, he will need a lot of artillery and air support, and that usually just takes time. Like, these are expensive units, and it needs time until the effect really adds up. So that's not great. And I mean, this flag is about to fall too. The Yakari here cannot hold on forever as well. It's now being shot at by this P40. The T26 could probably pop out and finish that. If he gets a side shot for sure. Frontally, probably as well at this range, especially considering the fast rate of fire that it does have. Might be possible. Looks like the 20 mil car finally died. The Marder is probably soon to follow. The AA is, this one probably needs to move out a little bit. This one has moved back as it was under fire here. Marder goes down. Sturmpanzer still alive though. It takes a while for this to actually fire, so it's not going to have an easy time to stop all of this. But oh, he actually brings the Rangaistus. Okay, I'm sorry for for butchering your Finnish language, Yapaza. Yeah, this is. I mean, it's a disheartened, cheap, spammable infantry. That's not too bad. If you think that is a good thing to use that. Oh, this Vectorton is quite low in health, but the Regiment Explorador do not have any long-range weapons, so they might run into that and get absolutely smacked. Yeah, Ramai, I do not think that he has them. I think his plan probably was to just turtle in here and make it really, really hard for Fairy to actually break him and then just be able to push back in sea phase by out-trading him and air spamming him. But he has lost so many planes and artillery early on. He has been forced out of some key areas. I do not think that this is winnable at all. I mean, that was to be expected. Farid attacking is always, as always, yeah. I mean, Farid is like Farid's game concept, and I really admire the fact that he can pull that off this way because I certainly can't. He is just pressuring. He is pushing, 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 pushing. There's no stopping. If you cannot push in one spot, then you push somewhere else. This is generally something that good players do, right? Like in one area, your push gets stopped, you push somewhere else. But like Farid is just taking that to the extreme. There's no backwards. There's only forwards. There's also no stopping. There's only forwards. But like he still knows when to stop pushing too heavily. Both P2 get some rockets off. There's actually oh no, there's this crap little thing there. But yeah, they probably should have focused one of these, and they might have gotten the kill. Is DJ88 going after the AA? That would be so ballsy. It would be so nice. It is. One of them goes down. What did the other target? I think he released the bombs a little bit earlier. Oh, they both went after the same AA piece. So that's problematic now all of a sudden. Because once his AA is gone, Farid can just get air spammed completely by Gonzo. And look at that, he has more JU88s. But I think this is one of these cases where you probably want to make sure that you have enough on the ground first before you start air spamming. Maybe I'm wrong, but I do think that this does not work at the time. Like it's not the worst call, and I mean now look at that. The skies are free. I think this one should probably not die to the single flag 36. But yeah, I mean Farid needs more AA now. Or he does the thing that we've seen with Bori against what was it, Protoss, and this is actually the right call. If you get air spammed like heavily and you have no chance of stopping the air spam, what you have to do is just pressure on the ground even more, pushing forward everywhere because your opponent will not be strong enough on the ground to deal with that. Yeah, he has 3 minutes, but the problem is if he spams now and doesn't have anything to stabilize with, he just spamming enough doesn't say anything. Now, I think he's just doing it because he doesn't surrender, and don't know if Gonzo is one of these, but some people just never press the surrender button, which I respect. But and then of course you just do whatever you have fun with at the end, or what looks best. Okay, no, it does surrender. But if you close to surrendering, what you need to do is, yeah, I mean, with the 3 minutes, probably true, but you still need to try and get, generally speaking, a front line established. Like the problem is, he started buying these planes a little bit earlier, right? So he probably should have bought things first to stabilize. But I mean, it's true that they need some time to arrive, and especially with the Finnish one, that's quite a long time. But yeah, game one, won by Farid, 28 minutes 32 seconds. So that's definitely great. Gonzo has income advantage to late. Yeah, he has the income advantage, but it's less about the income advantage, but more about, do you have things right now to stabilize the line? Um, and if you don't, you need to get these things first, and then you can actually start air spamming and things like that. The problem is also for him to stabilize, he needed to push back. So, and as we said, he needs artillery planes for him to be able to do that. Like infantry alone doesn't do it. So that was quite unfortunate for him. So the trades were actually quite even. I'm surprised. But yeah, Gonzo is moving for sure. I mean, if we can look at it afterwards, but I I think that Gonzo should, generally speaking, be relatively safe. Um, ex- Division One, for those who don't know, is one big group phase, and then instead of the from what I've heard, six per division that continue the playoffs, but because there's only 6 players in Division One, they will go directly to the semifinals with the top 4 players. So Mimil and Koenig are already on the bottom, so Gonzo, unless he screws up royally, will be pretty safe. So I guess he can allow himself to meme around a little bit. But yeah, the plays are basically the same. Let's look at the kills. 75 mil at the start, got some SPWs to 122. Actually, they do some good work. The T26, wow, killed an IG-33. Okay, interesting. Um, Pack 38 did some killing too. The Vekatin, I mean, he killed one of the Claire Panzer 2s. And the Focke-Wulf, there we go. Yeah, Waffle Cup. This is the point. And I mean, we also need to remember that in order to be able to do so, I mean, yeah, KD numbers, no, KD numbers in general. The value is another thing, but the value, of course, cannot just be measured by what he kills. But um, they need some time to get a value out of them, unfortunately. Ikari, I mean, yeah, I mean, once he's in the forest, the Ikari can do a lot of work. Delati here, sniping Sidechima, pretty nice play there. In 2025, oof, yeah, it's really not in a good spot. I think it's sad. I think the Finns need some love. They really do, because they're interesting. It's an interesting faction with some interesting units, and it would be cool if they get just a little bit of love to make them a little bit more playable. Because right now they just aren't. Maybe I think Panzer Divisiona might be the best of them, but I don't think it's that good actually. But I'm sure some of you will disagree. I guess if you can play well, I've definitely lost against it, quite embarrassingly so. So it's not unplayable, but it's not that good either. So machine guns did some work. I mean, yeah, the P40s are already a pretty big issue for Gonzo, and the Sturmpanzer 4, there was no way of killing that other than using the rocket planes. Tiger as well. And the Decima still did a lot of work actually. And then the Lorraine, I mean, the Lorraine is the Lorraine. It's a beast. It's a beast. But yeah, great game by both players. Hope it was very enjoyable. We are going to be waiting now. But yeah, the T26 spam can be super brutal. So we are going to be waiting for game 2 now. And that should also be played. So before While we do that, we will take a quick look at how the leak is looking right now. But first, I do have to take a quick toilet break and grab some water. So give me a second. I will be back in just 1 or 2 minutes. I need to find the mute button first, though. And I do have the nice screens right now. There we go. All right. See you in 1 or 2 minutes. All right, I am back. So let's quickly open up League, and then we can take a quick look at how things are actually. We can switch back to Steel Vision for now. So we can actually take a look at what the standings are right now. Just need a second to open up the what's it called? The challenge. How you say that? All right. So there we go. Oh, sorry, I have something in my. So I had something in my throat, but should be better now. Can you all see it? Hopefully it works well. So yeah, let's take a look at things how they are right now. While we are waiting for these plays to continue. So Division 1, we have currently Onord at the top, followed by Farid. Both these have one game left to play, which is probably against Gonzo. One of them is happening. Yeah, we have the time at that channel. For everyone who has not is not following this super closely, we had tons of ties, as you can see right here in Div 1, which kind of made the time meta meme. But the time meta has definitely spread to other divisions as well. We have plenty of times in every division. It's crazy. It's enough that the organizers actually look into it, like want to see, who generally wins which games and things like that. They want to know who had first pick, who had second pick, and then who won that game. So yeah, Nordfart on the top both still have to play Gonzo, and then we have Luna, Gonzo, Mamil, and Koenig. So as you can see, Gonzo still needs to play 3 games, I guess. Now, if he wins any of those or gets 2 ties, he will be guaranteed to continue on. Right. So we have basically, unless he only gets 1 tie and then 2 losses, he will be safe. Otherwise, he would need to play a tiebreaker against Mimil. Luna, same thing. Unless he loses twice against Gonzo, should be safe to continue on. And then Mimil, yeah. Mimil can hope that one of these players ends up with 4 points, and then there might be a tiebreaker. But other than that, there's really no chance for him and Koenig. Yeah, as someone else pointed out, is it's gonna be his chance is gone. He will unfortunately not make it into the semifinals. Cheller, we had ties only needed to bring in as a. Oh, you are. I know which group you're in there. I'll show you again. Are they already pointing in the Discord? Yeah. And Green predicts that he will go Koroks. Korok. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Oh wait, they're already. Hold on. I think I missed quite a bit then. What happened? They're on Astrona again. The bands are Lair, Hermann Göring, 84th for Tank, SSB for Fallschirmjäger, 4th Armored Division. Second US, 7th Mac, 5th CAF, 4th Canadian, 44th, and then 20th Panzer, 1st SS, and 15th, and 26th Panzer. Okay. And no faction picks yet. But bold predictions are being made on what's being played by Yapasa or Green. So guns are just rolling then. But yeah, so that's Division 1. Now, Division 2. This is Chandler, you mean Chellyman then, I guess. Because I think this group only had ties until Reef was added in, if I'm not mistaken, and he's already collected another tie, just to point that out. But yeah, so in this division, in Division 2, we have currently looking good for Lisek. It's not decided for Minchelli and Stahlbrecher yet. It really depends on what these two get in their game. Lisek will be sure to continue. Stahlbrecher basically has to hope that Minchelman does not win against Reef. otherwise the season is over for him as well. So there's, from what I've been told, there's 6 players advancing into the playoffs per division. So since there's 3 groups, that will be the top 2 players. Then in Group B, oh no, it's not decided yet. We have Step Knight, who will continue for sure, and then we have Green and Prop Lord, who will probably have to play a tiebreaker to decide who continues, unless they have some sort of ruling, which I actually don't know how these stats actually, if this makes a difference, who won how many games, things like that. And then in Group C, this has been pretty clear relatively early on. We do have Stan and Yapasa dominating very, very clearly with 2 wins, and then they tied against each other. Time meta continues. Yeah, it's not looking super good for attack power, but I mean he has not played that much, so I guess as it saddens me, but it's not that surprising in that regard because I mean Step Knight has been super active, and I've seen Froblord a couple of times as well. Green I don't actually know, never played against that guy or seen him. Are we players better than C? No, no. So the groups are just I think they're randomly generated, or in I know that in one of the divisions I've heard that I actually ordered them by time zone so that it's better for players to find times to play against each other. It's what I've heard. I'm not 100% sure. But generally speaking, this has nothing to do with skills. They're just randomly generated, so that you can have a little bit of separation process going on through that. Continuing on with Division 3, this is actually my division. So here, since 6 players will continue the playoffs, that should be the top 3 players of each group. We have Group A with Valzer, Dunk, so that's myself, Momori, Paladin, Lepa, and William VC. This is pretty much clear here, so it will be a Valzer, Momori, and myself continuing on. We also have a little bit of a time meta going, but it's not that strong. We have more of a win and loss meta, I guess. So that was a really tough one, I have to say. I mean, I managed to win against Paladin Lepa, but that was not an easy one. And then against Omamori, got the classic tie. If Omamori and myself, we always tie. I've never won or lost a best of 2 against him so far. I've only lost a tiebreaker, but that's another story. And then Avalzer of Glory, of course, is like I think he's gonna win this division without a doubt. And then in Group B we have Epic. Dominating currently, but it's not decided yet, Exarch, unless you still need to play some games. I want Internet has not played a single game, and I'm quite disappointed. Um, and I think crippling depression is pretty much out of the game, unless you will have a. It's not. In theory, it's not lost yet, but with one loss against wins and ties, it's going to be difficult. Um, Epic is, yeah, so I don't know how he's nowadays. The last time I played against him, I didn't struggle too much, but I think he's increased quite a bit in skill and very fast. So that's very impressive. I have to I have to say that. I might run into him now with the playoffs probably. So gonna have to wait and see for that. And then we have Division 4. Let's actually see if they have already set up anything or picked anything. So far, it picked Axis. Both picked Axis. Gonzo picked 8 calf. I think Farid has not picked anything yet, or has he? I don't think so. So let's continue this then. And then we do. So here we have Drago Tango dominating Group A. It's not surprising to me at all. Yeah, I don't know why Drago Tango is in Div 4. They moved him down from Div 3 when they moved me up. Valzer and myself, we were moved up, and then Drago and I think Vampiro were moved down, but I do not think that I should have moved down Drago Tango. I think Drago Tango is a Div 3 player for sure. But yeah, I mean, he's just dominating Div 4 now, I guess. So yeah, easy win there. And then we have Vampiro and Crusader. They actually played both of their games. I just... Oh no, they played a tiebreaker, or they have to play. I think they had some games published against each other. But maybe that was the tie. I'm not 100% sure actually. Or maybe they played the tiebreaker. But they will have to play one because right now yeah, neither of those are going to continue. And then in Group B, I'm very disappointed because hardly any games have been played. Props to the Boomer and Creamy Bigums for playing their game. So, but shame on these two. Like, I have no issues shaming people for not playing the game when they sign up for tournaments. Um, But anyway, so I guess the boomer will continue, and then I don't know, Creamy Biggest for actually playing probably. So I guess that's what's gonna happen. And then Group C, we have Espresso, sure to continue. And then we have Solafane and a Gamer Geek, both at 3 points. Time Meta is also strong in this group. And I guess they will also have to play a tiebreaker to see who continues on. And then Gasgard with 1 loss and 2 ties, just a little bit short of continuing on into the playoffs. And then, last but not least, let's look at Division 5. We have a lot of unplayed games in Group A. I'm also very disappointed of everyone in here, except for these two. Lots of names that I do not know, so I'm just going to go over them real quick. Group B, DJ Spitz Nasty currently in the lead with 1 win and 1 tie, but also 2 people who have not participated yet whatsoever. So unless they all of a sudden play all their games, I guess it's going to be DJ Spitz Nasty and Bumble Potato continuing on into the playoffs here. For Limaintons, unfortunately, will not be enough. And then Group C, this is the most active one, it looks like. Royal Musketeer taking a clear lead here with 2 wins and 2 ties, followed by Jefferson with 2 wins, 1 tie, and 1 loss. He could still be caught up by Sol Medura or Baxus if they manage to get all their games done now. It's technically not impossible, but it will be difficult for those two to catch up to Jeff Jefferson, and then they might have a chance in a potential tiebreaker. But I think this is probably decided at this point. Not 100% sure. I guess we have to wait and see. But yeah, so this is how it's currently looking in league. Hope it is interesting for you to get up to date unless you're already following it. But of course, this is still the tie meta this season is insane. Look at all these ties. It took quite a while actually for the time meta to end. I think Farid versus Koenig was the first win that we actually saw this season, and that kind of started some more wins, but it took quite a while to get there. All right, let's switch back to still the division now. Hopefully that works, and let's see if we have gotten any news. Not yet, but I guess we can also just getting ready here with the station. The game has not been made yet. But yeah, we are on Nostromo again. Not a huge fan of it. As I said, I'm not a huge fan of the map, and of course I would, I would rather just cast 2 different maps after each other, but I guess we're not gonna get that. I'm not gonna get that favor. So, and yeah, as we said, Gonzo picked 8 calf. I'm not sure what Farid picked. I don't think he has made a pick just yet. But I mean, as we've seen, Gonzo, as soon as he wins just 1 game, he is basically good. So I guess that's the reason why he is doing troll picks like that right now, because he it doesn't have much to fear. Unless he trolls in every game that he plays now and loses every single one of them, he will continue on. Otherwise, he will hand that spot to Mimil. Which personally, even though I've not anything against him. I would not be against that because I have Mamil in Fantasy League, so I would be very, very happy if Mamil actually gets to continue. But the chances of this happening is very, very low. Um, but yeah. What are we actually we could have done that while we were looking at everything. So what's what are your predictions for the divisions? Who do you think will get a win in each division, and who do you think will at least get uh, a place among the top 3? Because for we can switch back to it actually. 28th, yeah. Wait, seriously? Did he pick it? I didn't see it. Oh yeah, there we go. 28 Jäger Maverick on Ostrono. His reasoning, all good access divisions were banned. Well, that's definitely not true for Ostrono, but I guess you could do that. You think it was kind of unfair how attack? I mean, the problem is, I think attack power is so out of shape that probably he would be losing in every division. Mm, I don't think that like it really saddens me to say it, but like if I've noticed this myself, like as soon as I or since I started casting, I play less and I my skill declines. That's just how it is if you have less time. So I think in Group A or C, he would not be doing that much better, to be honest. And that has nothing to do with the group. It's all to do with him being out of shape. What? What's with Koenig playing game two? Oh yeah, there we go. I think he actually. I'm surprised. I thought he played him. Yeah, Charlie. This is exactly the point, right? It's like in terms of what he is capable of, in principle, he has to be like he's very appropriately placed. The problem is it's also really hard to take this into account. Like if you place him in any other group, it wouldn't change anything. If you place him in another division, he might overperform drastically. So it's really and it's kind of hard. I mean, it's kind of hard for the people who have to put people into the divisions and groups because you don't necessarily know. Even if someone's out of shape, they can practice a lot and get back into shape, right? I mean, all the Div 1 players, some of these have not played that much recently. Like Luna, for example, we haven't seen him in ages, at least not in tournaments. Um, but if you all of a sudden start to practice a lot, on Ord is not a great example, then you get really good very quickly again, right? Like this thing doesn't go anywhere all of a sudden. Broski thinks he's Gonzo and plays only on bands. Who's that? Ah, you mean, yeah. Do you think? I don't know. I mean, in Group C against Yepaza and Stan, 100% not. In Group A, I just don't know most of the players there well enough to be able to say that, but I'm not so sure that he would. And that's really like no hate or anything against the guy. Like the guy is a legend, but I just think that if you're out of shape, it's really rough in any group. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. What do we get here? Gonzo's a Maverick. Okay, so both players are Maverick now. Okay, I haven't seen it. It's kind of hard to talk, watch chat, and watch Discord as well. Um, Gonzo and Maverick with Picaro. I mean, both are a Maverick now. I think. I mean, Farid kind of has to. 28 Jäger is not a balanced division. But that actually puts Gonzo a little bit in a better spot, I think, because he at least has more to. No, actually not. 28th Jaeger does have. We can actually look at the divisions real quick. So as long as it doesn't start yet, we have some time to do that. Just gonna open up my builds. They're not necessarily the best builds, as you all know. That's from another game, but we can also take a look at that. So it's not my build. This is one from another player that I cast. I just haven't deleted it yet. But I mean, you have IG33s and you have the Stu 42s. This is probably going to be the important one because the IG33 will get wiped by the Srini. Serini, or how you pronounce that. Um, so you actually have 2K HE. You don't have 2K AT, which 8CAF has, but the what 8CAF has is the receipts and they're stationary, so they're potentially killable, right? So there's that. Otherwise, I mean, in the forest, 28th Jäger will do just fine. You have some air spam that you can do as well. You have some Nebelwerfers, some fun stuff there. Now, if you go take a look at ACAF, I think ACAF is the allied one, right? There we go. You have, I mean, yeah, your 2K is this and this. That's about it. And then you have wonderful artillery though. The Romanian 100 mils are great. I actually should not. So whenever I go back to this deck, I should take one of these out. You don't need 2 cards for Maverick. That's way too much. But then you just don't have that many tanks to work with. Like in actual tank fighting, the Stuks should win, but then you have the Hetzer, which is quite good. And the Takams are great too. So I think the armor matchup could be interesting at least. Um, it's a little bit more on 28th Jaeger side, I would assume, but the Takam and the Hetzer can change that potentially. So that will be interesting. Both will probably do air spam. Both have decent AA, just not that all that much. Although can get 20 mils, you can get the Vickers if you really want to. So the options are there, generally speaking. And I mean, ACAF, like these guys can still put a little bit up of a fight up in forests, right? They're basically a hybrid unit. They're not that great as a hybrid unit, but they're okay. And I mean, then you have just MG42 units against MG42 units, but this one has at least two, not like the Jaegers. So it's gonna be looking very, very interesting. Let's see if the game has been. It has been. Ooh, session full. What? Please. No. Ah, yeah. No, we need to collect a spectate. That's why. Of course, we can't just join in. So let's get going. Let's hide this. So there we go. So here we are again. Let's see. Hopefully, we at least see some new strategies to make it a little bit more interesting. But now we can see what they deploy right from the start, because last time I screwed that up, right? So that should be interesting. Yeah, that would be super unfortunate. I guess that would be the end of the stream then. Not what I would be hoping, but that would have been what would have happened. Home sweet home, yeah, radio time. It certainly feels like that. Sadly, it's a shame. It's just not. It's just not such a nice map. Bad side again, says Farid. I mean, this is true. Red side has it a little bit easier because you have like you can easily push into this flag right away and you can still defend this flag technically. Blue side has really only this flag to push easily, and then you can try to get this one, but it can already be a little bit more difficult. Blue side has it better in my opinion to kinda like once you control if you can control the open area here like the hill, then you have it easier on blue side though, because then you have like these flags that are pretty easy to grab. You can start pressuring these two as well. Yeah, a 458. This is the advantage of blue side. But if you wanna the thing is you have to go for the hill on either side basically, and red side just has easier ways of getting some more flags early on. And what red side can more realistically do is get into this area. As I said, it's not super easy. Or I think I said this in the first game, it's not super easy, and it's very annoying to do so, but you have a little bit of an advantage compared to blue side trying to get more flags and control over there. Right, like triple, quadruple checks because it reduces like. Oh yeah, I remember something like that when I played against him. True, spectator is usually on for him. Yeah, it is a better advantage, but you know you can also just go for the hill and for this area, right? Because once you have the hill, like with the hill, it's much easier to also get this area. You have to go for the hill on either side, really. Blue has to kind of to get these flags because they're the most realistic one to grab. Some other flags are closer, but this is the ones that you can most realistically get. And Red Side kind of has to control the hill to actually be able to continue push here. Because if you have this, you cannot just easily push over here if you don't have the hill. So you have to go for the hill in general. This map is unbalanced in chance. Yeah, the map is really unbalanced. Or it's not just unbalanced. It's also just it's not necessarily just unbalanced, it's just poorly designed, right? I mean, I totally agree with what Attack Power says every time. Like, this map should be flipped, right? Like, we should be on one starting side of a place, right? Like, somewhere here should be the front line. And then you fight over this terrain, over the hill, and you have the roads being, like, directly to where you need to go. Because right now, it's super obnoxious. Half of the areas that have flags are hard to reach, and that's just a pure pain. Chance for Romanian Inf to shine now. Fighting to grab the eggs. I mean, I do hope they shine. Otherwise, that would be very, very embarrassing for them. Vivas hosting games for S44 and then reducing slots to make it 1v1. Okay, I have never heard of that. Interesting. Interesting. So it looks like Farid is once again very determined on fighting down south. And this makes a whole lot of sense because he has a good advantage in here, right, with his infantry. But as we already established, Hill would be a very, very good call for him too, and he probably should get control of it eventually. Yeah, Ramai, I think this map it's a weird one because you can have some success with good infantry for these areas if you can force a fight in there. But for you to be able to do so, you need 2K tools, because otherwise your opponent's just gonna dominate the open and will play around that. Yes, through the time, this is exactly the thing. If it's original design, it would probably be. I mean, it still would be annoying because like this area here with the reinforcement would be a little bit wonky, but you have plenty of roads that are like angled towards where you need them to. Like these flags would be annoying as well. But you know, you can also just then put the flags a little bit differently, right? Like you don't need to have the flags in the exact positions they are right now. But yeah, I mean, I'm surprised to see both of these divisions. Maybe ACAF a little bit less so, but definitely 28 Jaeger, because neither of those are a very powerful 2K division. I would have expected like some tank divisions or something like that. Yeah, that's exactly what they do every time. And like the new maps that we got, we didn't even get a 1v1 map for that, and I'm still mad about that. Like they make a new map and failed to add something for the 1v1 community. That's just sad. I don't know what they were thinking. Like apparently new maps were a big deal for the community, like big enough that they felt like okay, we need to get some, and then they just neglect a part of the player base again. Like come on, Eugene. I was really disappointed when that happened. But both maps look interesting on their own. I would have loved to play them in 1v1, but that's what it is. Where's the map? Yeah, we can always just hope for a Steel Edition 3 with a map editor. Not sure if it's happening. But yeah, game has started, so it looks like Farid's going strong down south. Okay, so there is opposition by Gonzo, just everything in one place. And then he's pushing on the hill again as last time, but not super strong. And for this hill, once again, just very defensive there. In the meantime, Gonzo is going hard for this flag, which is pretty common. You try to get into here. Red Side generally speaking has an advantage there, and then trying to secure this. Farid trying. Oh, Farid actually goes very heavily in there. He does not contest this too strongly. Oh yeah, that would be great. E458, but A458. But I think from what apparently it's somehow very, very difficult. Oh, we have an off-map lane right at the start. Wow, that's interesting. We do have the captured C3. This thing is great. I absolutely love this thing because it has radio, so it's better than the regular C3. The capability of doing indirect fire is so useful. when you have radio. Otherwise, it's still useful, but it's not as strong. But this thing, it's really fantastic, and I think it's 40 points now. I think it was actually reduced in price. There we have. We go off map, right on target. Yeah, it would be great for 1v1. I know. Okay, Chad, I didn't know that they actually announced it, but I've only ever heard that apparently it was difficult. That's what I've heard from Attack Power. So I don't actually know better than that. A J18 under fire by the Serini. Off map will probably be very, very hurting quite a bit here. So rapid for one. I think there is, yeah. Well, from what I've heard, apparently with how they set up everything, it's just difficult to make a map editor because I don't know. And apparently it's easy for Warno because they made the whole process of making maps and DA working around it better. But that's all I heard. I guess Cello knows more than I do. It's already answering the comment quite nicely. It's Turan versus Stu. It looks like the Stu got a pen by the Turan. That should not be super easy for the Turan to do. The Stu has heat shell. Oh, it goes down to the Turan too. Wow, what a kill. The Stu 42 has 100 millimeters of armor at least, so it has some overpen has to be happening, and it has heat, so it could potentially kill the Turan too. Now we have a Marder coming in here to help. At this range, it could potentially kill this Rini, penning relatively consistently, but the Breda is dangerous for him. The Breda can kill that relatively easily. Off map going down, forcing these units back. 12-12, we were on at 13-11 really quick for Farid, but not. Didn't really take long. Just one flamethrower holding this, and that CV 53 holding it up here, so both players basically just decided to ditch that, which is very understandable. This sucks so hard. Cheyu 87 now coming in. He was going, I think he was going after the off map. It has 220 mils, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, this one does not. Some of them have. So I guess then it just had it on the Fokker Wolf so that it takes less damage. You have to remember, guys, these things do have medium resilience now, so they actually have a little bit of survivability. Yeah, I imagine getting hit by the Turatu. Yeah, that must hurt. Like I would be so mad if I was Farid. JU87 gets out though. These things are just fantastic, and now with medium resilience are even better. I'm still a bit skeptical about it, to be honest, but it is useful. Another off map going down here, and Farid making the push. JU87 coming back, now going after the AT gun there. The fighter needs to be careful not to die against these. Another head-on run could do some damage. Might actually be able to get on the back of it now. But if it goes into the dive right now, it will dodge that. Oh, but he has to be careful. He's microing it? No? Yeah, he missed it because it goes into the dive. That's so annoying. Jaeger here making some progress down south, but the Turantu will may be a major issue here. There's nothing that these can do against that. At least not if it, stays at a good distance. There's one Pioneri Kalari in here that managed to survive the off-map and not fall back, so that's still there, but that will be forced off relatively quickly soon, probably. And here we have some Venator de Garda, some Kalarashimoto, and the leader still trying to fight with these Jaeger. At close range, the Jaeger will win now, but of course not if they get some support by the Turan 2. Two of those actually, so we have 3 Turan 2s already out of 4. And then the Shrini, 2 of those as well. You also get 4 if you add a single bet on everything. JU87 back again. I have to imagine is a different one. But I mean, these things are just great. Look at that, 65 points. Yes, it only has 1 bomb, so you can't do the double bomb trick, which I love to do with these. But 65 points, and your opponent has to buy A now, or a fighter. And that's going to be much more expensive than this. And he can still do damage. There we go, everything's pinned. Well, except for one Jaeger, which is enough to win that fight, I guess. 13-11 for Farid still. 12-12, but it's only going to be momentarily. As soon as Farid gets something in here, this grab here will stop. Some Jaeger here being forced off by the Serini. Streak 3 coming in at 1750 meter range. Streak will actually win against the Serini because it can only shoot its heat shell, if I'm not mistaken, at 1500 meters. So that's going to be a bit of an issue for Gonzo here. But I mean, at least in this game we get both. I wouldn't say that Jaeger is a complete meme pick or that 8CAF is a little bit of a complete meme pick, but we definitely have both players going with, I would say, a similar level of strength of their division, instead of both of them going for the absolute strongest option. So I love to see that. And it's a good classic infantry brawl for the most part, which I feel like we don't see that much anymore these days, purely because the infantry meta is over, sadly. Or sadly for me at least, I was more of an infantry uh, player. But of course, it is more balanced now as it is because most things are playable these days. Not on every map, of course, but generally speaking. So this map flag is lost again for Farid, which brings it back to Gonzo. These units here have been encircled, so while Farid has a decent amount of units there, they can't do much right now, and there's Turan that kind of locks him out of uh, locks them into this forest. He can't get out of there. Now the Pioneer Calari are coming here to clean up. Nice play there. Off map plane coming back in. I think it's going to be the last salvo probably. We can't. I still hate that you can't see it in the stats, but I guess it's going to be the last one. Or maybe it's just here for recon. Maybe the two that we've seen were the only ones that you get. So now just having some recon is definitely helpful. 28 Jaeger does have although does it? I feel like it has some more. Hi, Arena. um, but yeah, I feel like it should have some more charges. Now, I'm not sure if it's 28 Jaeger or Gebirgs Jaeger. One of them does have some more off map. Oh, there's the off map, so it has 3 charges at least. I mean, the the off map planes are very weak in general, but they are a little bit cheaper because it's so easy to shoot them down. But if you bring them right at the start, like if you want to bring them, you have to bring them right at the start because then there's not that much A. And even now there's 225 mils. And I don't know if Ju-87's in here. So Gonzo is deciding to do the air bully. And the cheeky grabs his flag here already. While Farid is holding this. He only has one Jäger to follow this up though. So he probably won't surrender things here. The Turan can stop that relatively quickly. Oh, this Turan finally goes down. I mean, it did more than we could have asked for him in general. I mean, he killed the Stu 42. Like, what more do you want from one to round two? This one here is bullying the infantry as well. I mean, yeah, if your opponent doesn't actually bring that many tanks to round twos, even having 4 of them can do a lot of work. Oh, there we go. So he did bring the Vickers. I think it also got reduced in price, if I'm not mistaken, which makes it decent now. I mean, or the availability got also increased. Maybe both. Maybe it's like the Russian 85 mil. I mean, all of these are not that great as AAPs, but they are great for the multi-purpose role. I mean, this thing is truthfully a better ATPs than an AAPs. I'm gonna be honest about it. Fred's an off-map plane down only to strike the upper part because he tried to hide the actual. Maybe I don't actually know. If so, that would be a great play, but I don't know. Truthfully, I don't have that much experience with off-map planes, and we don't see them all that often for a good reason. So I'm not sure about this. Oh, Marder, if it can take out the Srini here, that would be huge. I think it does 10 damage, so it could one-shot that Marder there. If it hits, which it does. So by Marder, Stu 42 coming in. This can also one-shot the Srini in return, though. But I guess it does not look like Farid wants to take that fight. I mean, it's basically 50-50, so not sure if this is a good fight for you. Probably want to wait. Yeah, more streaks are coming in, more mods are coming in. So unless he really needs to take the fight, I guess he can be happy with not taking it. He's on a... Never mind, back to 12-12. Reinforcements are coming in, so he still has a chance fighting over this. Stu-42 now on the run. Up north, things have quieted down. So Farid looks like he tried to push across, but he has now decided that he does not want to follow up on that, which makes sense. It's very deep. He has to push it's very far. To get across, it's a very deep push. Not super easy to do. He doesn't have the resources there to support it right now, so that doesn't make much sense doing it. This, on the other hand, is where I guess both players with their infantry focus do want to fight over, so it makes a lot of sense that we see fighting. Fred really isn't looking good at the bottom. Probably should attack the upper part. I mean, yeah, he should. I think this off-map here was a big waste at the end of the day. But if he actually follows it up now and can push across here, it might not be. The problem is that he still needs a bazooka or something. Like, he cannot... the Turan will stop everything. So he needs to either... I mean, yeah, okay, I guess. He can also Nebelwerfer strike it. That would also do. Now Focke-Wulf coming in. The Vickers might stop that. J7 spam continues. So this is my general opinion. There we go, flag 43 coming in. So this is my general opinion on what you should do if you get air spams. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of fighters, okay? Because they might not kill the planes head on, and then they can get stopped by your opponent's AA. So if your opponent brings plane and AA, then your fighter is countered and you still have to buy AA, and you still haven't solved your problem. So in my opinion, you really just want to buy AA as early as possible, because then you can be sure that you have locked down the area or the airspace in that area for the time being. Of course, you still have to be careful then because of artillery and everything, so it's not like you can't be counted, but in my opinion, that's generally the way to go rather than bring a fighter. But I've definitely heard people saying otherwise, and that's coming from top players, so I might be wrong there. So if someone knows better than I do, I know that there's some Div 2 players in here for sure, do let me know if you agree or disagree on that statement. But yeah, back to your question about where to push. So, I mean, if he follows up on this, he still has a chance once he can kill that to round 2. I mean, if he has to buy resources anyway, especially Stück Freeze, I think it would be now a good time to start pushing up here. I don't think that there's anything that speaks against that. I agree with you on that. I guess he just thinks that he has better chances here with his infantry, with his strong infantry focus. Nebelwerfer Strike doesn't actually target this area, it goes after the 75 mil. At this range, you might not kill it. Yeah, oh, there we go. It is dead. Bit of a waste, but I mean, it definitely works. Yeah, look at that. Everything has been forced back because these units have recovered by now. And now we have a Turan that still stops everything. And now, I guess we have an artillery piece going after that. Yeah, the Hungarian 100 mils. These are absolute beasts. Thanks, Yapaza. So yeah, that's my opinion too. And I think this is what happened here as well. I think he should have bought a Flak 43 here, right? So because I mean we've seen it, right? He was chasing after the Ju-87 and he still didn't kill it when he first bought the fighter. Now he might have, that is possible, but then he has a fighter that doesn't really have much use after that. Now if you actually bring a Flak 40, like if you brought the Flak 43 right at the start, he would also not have stopped that Ju-87 at the start, but he would have bought something that he was now buying anyway, and he would have, and that will stop future airstrikes here. And he would have the 100, what, 10, 20, 30 points that he spent on that Focke-Wulf, he would have that available to him right now. Fighter buff next patch, I don't know. I mean, fighters can still be useful, it's not that they can't, but in generally speaking, they're not the best thing, in my opinion. I mean, I honestly can't get over not having fighters. So there we go. It gets a kill. Does Ju-87 get on the back? No. Tries to get away. I mean, some of these do have 20 mils. They can actually be a little bit deadly, but not these. I personally just like to use fighter bombers anyway, and then I have the fighter train there. That's how I generally do it. So if I really want a fighter, or if I have a fighter bomber out anyway, and I can then use it as a fighter too, then that's a great extra value that I get from it. But I hardly ever bring dedicated fighters these days. Oh, Jagdpanzer 3080 gets a kill on the Stück 3 there. It depends a bit on the fighter's weapon loadout, but if it has a bad loadout, you don't want to bring it anyway. Right? That's a general thing. Like some of the BF-109s with only 120 mils are just garbage. Like you would never use them. Now this, for example, is decent, right? You get 220 mils. This is what these we can basically ignore, but you get to 220 mils. Now the bomb loadout sucks, but I don't think you get much better loadouts. And these reload relatively quickly, and you can still get a kill, I guess. Jaeger's fighters are awesome though. Yeah, I mean if you can use them for strafing, then yeah. But if you just but the problem is, the problem remains if your opponent counters your fighter with AA to protect his planes, then you also can't do strafing anymore. But I do agree. I mean, generally speaking, in my opinion, fighters are worth buying if you have a multi-purpose role, right? As either as fighter bomber or a strafer, and then a fighter still makes a lot of sense. The small forest island was taken. How bad is it going to be because of that? You mean this one? I mean, that's just secured now for Gonzo. That so far does not have big issues coming with it for Farid. But it's going to be hard for him to get back in because you have to get across all the open ground. This is much more serious because you can start poking at this flag and then you can start denying blue side reinforcements into this area here. So if Farid is pushed out of here completely, which it looks like he will, things are not going to look super good for him. And Gonzo, I mean, Gonzo is realizing this. He's look at all the things that he's reinforcing here, right? The fact that Farid does not actually apply much pressure in any other position means that Gonzo now gets to dictate where he wants to push hard. He's gonna push here because he realized that Farid is weak here. And this is what these top players always do. Like as soon as you release the pressure just a little bit, they will use that. They will always try to get pressure onto you somewhere, but they will especially be um, even more aggressive once they realize that you are weak somewhere and that you do not pressure them enough yourself. Yeah, maybe he didn't take Panzer Strikes, but that would have been a massive mistake. I mean, even if you look at the limited amount of Turans, there's like, there we go, there's the horses. So you have to expect armor, and you know that your infantry will struggle against them. So I wouldn't say it's over. I mean, Farid just needs to do a counter push up north now. Like, just make sure that he can turtle up a little bit down south and counter push up north, and then it's still very winnable for him. But I just don't see how. I think he focuses on the wrong things right now. Because now we have the Nebelwerfer going after this 25 mil, which I get, but he should probably just try to grab ground here. The Srini here either died or moved. I think he moved. I think he also lacks vision. We can actually check that. Yeah, he does. He has no vision right here, so doesn't actually know how weak Gonzo is, and that's the big issue. Now let's see what Gonzo sees. Okay, also not a lot, but he sees the front line moving here, so and pushing back as he moves. So he knows there's something in here. He knows they can push here. Gonzo just killed Farid's plane, so it's not looking super good for him right now. And yeah, I think so. This is a major mistake now. Farid investing into more fighters is definitely not the way to go. That's I mean, he has a yay here anyway, and he's not going to win right here at this point. I think he has to know that. I mean, he has been pushed out here. Look at that. Look at all the Rosiori Assault and the Venatori de Garda. Oh my god, more of them coming in. He's just pushing through now. I mean, yeah, I think now it starts looking really bad. And this is to a large part, I think, due to the overinvestment into the Air Force. I mean, I think the biggest difference that we've seen so far, really, except for some general traits, is that Gonzo has invested. He has invested into the off map, and he is invested into his fighters. Neither of those have really brought him value. Meanwhile, Gonzo has invested into his Ju-87s, and they have been bringing him constant value, and they've even forced Farids to make bad buys. So, eh. Yeah, I mean, if Farid does not start pushing up north, he will be defeated. He has no, like, he needs to put up pressure somewhere now. Because Gonzo can otherwise just dictate the game however he wants, and Gonzo's in a good position in order to be able to do so. And the fact that Gonzo can now start opening up on the AT guns here makes a massive difference. I think he's gonna take advantage of this, Rame. I mean, these are very good plays. I think they do realize the situation as it is. Now, this air spam here, considering that he still needs to make ground up north, in my opinion, is a bit of a mistake. I think more importantly here is that, oh, we have not a Nebelwerfer. This could be a problem, but not if it goes after the both of us. I think he should have saved those, and then once Gonzo was going to push, that's when he should have striked with those. And Strumjäger trying to push in and surrender things, but were there yeah, against it's just such an overwhelming force that it's not gonna happen. And these are not great at CQC anyway. Nebelwerf, let's see, does he get the kill? No, no. I mean, the 300 mil Nebelwerf is great, but you just have to keep in mind the further you are away from your target, the bigger the spread, and the less likely you are to kill what you're targeting. So Nebelwerfer should always be as close as possible to the target. Now he's going after the artillery. Once again, understandable, but the problem is with the spread, it's possible that he doesn't kill it. He might, but he might not. It's very much RNG. He gets the good side of RNG, it looks like. Not a J80 sand spam, and there we go. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is gonna hurt. Flag 43 will not stop that. Flag 43 is a good AA piece, but it's not that good. So, I mean, I don't know. Personally, I still do think that having these regular Stuka dive bombers being medium resilience now was a mistake. The AT ones 100% needed, but the regular ones I feel like didn't. But like even if they weren't, I think 3 of those with the spacing that they had, would have gotten in here, or at least one of them would have. One goes down though to the Fokker Wolf, so finally the fight providing some value. I mean, this is the thing that you this is the thing that you can where the fighters can actually provide you value. If they actually manage to shoot those planes down when the AA will not, then you will thin out your opponent's AA and you can. That will be very beneficial in the long run. Because as soon as your opponent starts ass spamming, your AA might be able to force things off, but if your opponent can just keep on buying more planes, they will eventually overwhelm the AA. But how do you find off air spam if you're thin on A? That's the neat part, you don't. You either invest heavily into your AA, or you just accept the fact that you get air spammed and you push hard on the ground. This can work if your opponent air spams while your trades have been relatively even. As soon as your opponent has made better trades on the ground and then starts air spamming, there's just not much you can do because you don't have the strength on the ground to counter push. Stück 3, if you can kill the Takam, then yeah, then Farid is actually a decent spot here to push back. You will struggle in the forest, but this Nebelwerfer could potentially clean up there. Like you target this, move in with your infantry. It would be good probably. Oh, the Roshica and the 75mm are finding some good targets here though. Stuka's meta, here we go. They are good. I'm speed. Why nobody uses smoke? This is a very good question. One that has been asked in the comments quite a few times now. I guess that comes from a 10v10 player, I have to imagine. The answer is simply I do not know. Okay, maybe once again, maybe some of the top players here, like Mincheli Man or Yapasa, can answer this question. I don't know. There might be some other very good players in here. I don't know all of your names. Sorry for that. Just remember those that I see in tournaments as well, generally speaking, and that have their actual name in on YouTube, or the actual name, the one that they actually use in Steel Division. Um, Maybe they can answer this, but to my understanding, it's just that people are generally forgetting that they have it, and for the most part, and this is the main argument here why I think people are not doing it, is you are so busy microing everything that you just don't have the time to micro smoke really precisely. But smoke plays need a lot of attention from the few times that I try to do them, and that's not always super easy if you're busy all over the map, right? Like, you see them more from what I've heard in team games. I don't actually play them, so I don't know. But in team games, I think the you have a small part of the front line where you can really focus on. Here you have a whole map that you need to focus on, and it's just much harder to have that attention there. Secondly, not every unit has smokes, so that makes it a bit more difficult. Well, yeah, so French Ferret says has a good point here, right? If you have set up, and that's also mantra that I was going to give to I'm Speed. If you have, thank you, Cello, by the way. I didn't know that the aim time was very long. But yeah, the points were very good, right? You generally put up support to support a push into forest parts, and then you kind of don't need the smoke because everything that that shows itself will get absolutely destroyed, right? Yeah, I mean you can like pre look at you can pre-smoke areas with artillery and mortars, but that's gonna take some time. It's not always perfect. Sometimes there's gaps, things like that. Your units often don't have smokes, so it's better to just set up support weapons and then push in. I feel like that's the reason. I don't actually know because I usually forget that I have smoke anyway, but maybe that's the reason why we don't see it a lot by better players. Still 13 level by Gonzo. Yeah, on Ord, you're right. Oh god, why Astrona? I think that was everyone's fault here. We have two more Focke-Wulfs coming in. Do they get in? One of them gets the bombs off. Might get killed now because I mean there's a lot of AA here. I don't think this thing gets out there alive. It's smoking already. Oh, will it go down? Oh, just barely survives, I have to imagine. But Farid making progress, like getting back in here. The problem is the horse is still there, and he still does not have any bazookas. I think he actually didn't bring any Panzerfausts. Panzerschrecks. That would be have been a major mistake. And this forest part is still the problem because this forest part is actually grabbing this flag, so he needs to clear that out. I think he should really use the Nebelwerfer for that instead of going after the A that he's still not killing. IG-33 goes down, fails to kill the Vickers. That's unfortunate. Up north, still nothing going on. Still surprised that don't actually see a counter push here by Farid, but I mean, Gonzo has been reinforcing this anyway now. And now we have the more Nebelwerfers in actually, still going after the A. So I guess he's really determined on doing the ass spam. Yeah, I think A458 has a good point here as well. Yeah, I mean they're gonna lose without a bazooka. They need a Panzerschreck here, and I don't get why we don't see one. So someone pointed out, and I think that's probably what it is. He doesn't have one, which is a major mistake. I mean, yeah, there's not that many tanks, but you still have the horses. The Takams can be annoying as well. So Gufu's drool bottom. The bad side is probably blue side, I would say. I don't think Ostrono is just bad because it's imbalanced. It's also just bad because it's generally painful to play and it's so hard to reinforce your you at the areas that you can grab at some point. Like if push across here or here is not easy to reinforce. Same concept here and here. So it's just generally painful. Well, I mean, it's yeah, we're back to 12-12, but yeah, I mean, generally speaking, in a mirror income, if you have just single tick income, that's all that you need, right? Having the 1311 is good, unless there's a major skill difference or a really bad division matchup. It's very hard. It's not super easy to get a 15-9 um, with the mirror income, right? If there's a skill gap, then yeah, that's another story. If the income is different, that's another story. Or if you have a bad division matchup. But otherwise, ooh, that was a fun line for a brief moment, but now it's gone. Recon here flying undisturbed. But never mind, Flag 43 is still alive. Okay, thanks, Shell. I didn't know that, but that's good to know. Yeah, Velvos, this is exactly true. If you can just smoke off a small corridor, like small line area for line of sight, then it's super easy to use smoke, but otherwise it's relatively hard. Also, as soon as there's armor in play, you can just move around it and be done with it. So. Although there is a great game, you can find it somewhere on Attack Power's channel. There's a great game of I think it was One Some Noob smoking off an IS-2 for a whole game on one of the Slutsk maps. That's a fantastic game. You can find it somewhere on Attack Power's channel. But other than that, I have not seen smoke being used effectively all that much. But it looks like Gonzo is now deciding to finally push. There's not much here holding this line anyway. I mean, the Pack 38 could potentially deal with this armor here, but the Takams can shoot at the Pack 38 as well. And the Horse is not that far of being out of range too. If you can move like up here, it will get in range, but probably it will go down to the Takams before that. And the IG-18 has the heat shells, it can do it, but it's going to struggle as well. The Jaeger also won't be the answer here. I just pushing it up here so that you can grab the flag. You'll just get wasted by this Minotaur and Tigara though. But I'm still surprised that we don't see a counter push up north, which I think is now happening. Yeah, it looks like Farid has finally realized that he needs to push somewhere else. Maybe he's also gotten some recon. We can quickly check the vision again. No, Farid. Oh my. See, this is really bad. This is an absolute disaster. Farid basically does not see anything. And with that, it's really hard to win a game because it's really hard to actually determine where you should push and what you need to buy and things like that. Like this is really difficult. On the other side, Gonzo also doesn't see much, but he's in a good spot. So he can be happy with how things are. He will see things as they are pushing, eventually. And now, yeah, he spots this. I would say a little bit ahead of time. That's all that he needs. But of course, both players will probably want to have more vision. Oh, okay, so that was a game against you then, you Parser. I'll need to check that out again. It was I he told me of that. I watched it. And it was a great game. Well, I mean, oh, Vulcan. Okay, I mean, but he's a 10v10 player. So from what I've heard, it is smoke is very very common in 10v10, and that makes a lot of sense. You have a smaller front line, so it's easier to focus on these kind of things. And most importantly, from what I heard, it's quite artillery heavy, so it's much easier to put up a massive smoke screen in one area. But also, I would argue that if you are a content creator and want to make good content, that's probably you're more likely to try out plays like this. I was going to say the Nebula died, but it was moved ahead of time. I didn't see it for a second. All the 100 mils are now in action. We have 5 of them. Look at them go. Like these are just absolute beasts. Like look at this, 8 rounds a minute for 100 millimeter shell. This is pretty strong. 1410 for Gonzo as he takes this as well now, and Farid's units here are just sitting down here where they're not actually of much use. Stick pushing forward. These do have, no, these only have AT grenades. But I guess we are going to see a little win by the Romanian infantry, which I love because I love the Romanian divisions, but damn. Nebelwerfers, yeah, I mean, see, this is the problem. Farid is still going after the AA. I mean, he's making some progress and he will eventually be able to air spam. The question is just going to be too late, right? He needs to get some ground eventually, and I think like he lost so many engagements here where just striking everything with a Nebelwerfer could probably have done more, in my opinion. We're up here, Nebelwerfer strike, then push up. Probably have done more work here. 100 mils are already going after the next Nebelwerfer, which is moving. This one as well. So Farid is on top of the micro when it comes to Nebelwerfers, and the 100 mils are shooting out into nowhere. Is this the first game of the matchup? No, it is game 2. The first game was on the same map, sadly, and it was won by Farid. But Gonzo was trolling a little bit. He was picking a Ruchmarapana against Farid's 715th Infantry. Now he actually first picked 8 Cav, so we again have an interesting matchup. And Farid actually countered with another interesting pick here with 28 Jaeger, which is definitely entertaining. So, and I mean, truthfully, Farid knows that he's going to get into playoffs. So, I mean, of course, you want to win, right? But you can have a little bit more fun if you are well aware that you are safe no matter what. And Gonzo, while not technically safe, can be pretty sure that he will be getting into the playoffs as well with how things are looking. Especially if he plays in Thai right now, so he can also get away with playing a little bit more Mimi divisions. Well, that Archer, his reasoning on the Discord at least was that all the good Axis diffs were banned. That's why. Now you have to pick Axis before you know what your opponent is going to be picking, right? So you know, but after you have done all the bans, so you would have known that in advance. I think he just wanted to meme around a little bit as well. I think that's what it is because he can afford to do it right now. Flag 43 is pinned. Now the J87 is in. It's not going anywhere though. And now we just see infantry pushing forward. Pack 40 here trying to do its best. IG-18 is not in position to actually help there, but I guess it's too far away to be threatening the Pack 40. And up north still, no pressure by Farid, which is very unusual. Farid is a very aggressive player, so usually he just pushes. He doesn't know anything than attacking. but it's not going super well from him. Well, yeah, it's not a good access div. Truthfully, though, this is. I actually remember. One thing that I tend to forget. Farid actually really likes Axis versus Allies matchups. Like in general, he dislikes mirror matchups. So that's probably part of it. But yeah, it's not a good Division 4 this map. Now 8 would also not be my first pick on Ally side, to be honest, for this map. But that's Gonzo memeing around a little bit. Rashid's now using indirect fire. Oh, but I absolutely wasted by the IG-33. I think the IG-33 is going to finish it off before the Rashidza will finish the Flak 43 off. Nebelwerfer being redirected. Jaeger G42 pushed forward. Very ballsy. But the problem is attack comes out here. There's not much he can do. Oh yeah, a 458. He will eventually. He will get them eventually. I have no doubt there. I mean, it's no, he's focusing on the AA now. I mean, he doesn't even need to counter battery them. If he kills all the AA, he will eventually be able to fly a recon plane in, and then his Stu can just finish him off that way. I mean, that's going to be possible too. So, but I should focus a little bit more on the cast now again. I mean, look at that. Farid is super weak down south here, so Gonzo, I think he finally realized how weak it is and decided to just push forward. H18 has two heat shells left. Can it finish something? No. The accuracy of those is just bad, and down it goes. So it's all down to, I guess, the streak 3 now. The problem is, the Takam actually fires relatively fast, if I'm not mistaken. There we go, 10 rounds a minute. Now the pen is not great, but I think by the time the streak 3 is, maybe, what does it see now? Oh no, the flak. That's going to go down quickly then. And I think Farid was it that surrendered right now. Not surprised there. Yeah, I think Farid really just plays for the fun here because I mean he won game one. He knows that he doesn't need to win any of those games anyway, um, and he actually outtraded. Look at that, he actually outtraded Gonzo. Just wasn't able to get ground. Yeah, time meta. The time meta is real. The time meta is real. But he actually outtraded Gonzo. Just couldn't get ground because he didn't have the tools to push. Because his division doesn't have them. So that was that. Now, in terms of kills on both sides, the Srini did some work at the start. The 2 round 2 killing the street. This was such a like I would be really mad if that happened to me. The 2 round 2 finish insane. 2 round 2 bullying infantry that we've seen as well. The Srini doing some more damage. Another Srini doing well. These really performed super well. Oh, the flak filling got killed by the 100 mil, and I mean that's even worse considering that this thing is mobile. So you could just move it if it gets shelled or after it fired, but you of course need to remember to do that. And it's really hard if there's a lot going on to remember this every time. Like happened to everyone that you forget that and then you lose things. The heads are here, killing 2 sticks as well. Wow, that's quite unlucky. The off map didn't. I mean, it pinned some things, but just not in the right places. I think the Jaeger, one Jaeger here doing a lot of work actually. Okay, I guess it surrendered pinned units because I have no idea how it would win against 2 Pioneer Kalari otherwise, because they will get the grenades off for sure. Look at that. The J87's finally died at some point. It just didn't realize when. To the Flak 43 there. The Focke-Wulf actually got some kills too. Stick 3 doing some work. This Stick 3 here killing some tac cams. Good work there. Look at the Nebelwerfer. I've missed so much of this because I was so much mostly reading chat and talking to you guys instead of actually commenting what's happening. Sorry for that. He killed 3 artillery pieces. That's pretty good actually. That's not too bad. Another Nebelwerfer doing some work here, killing another 2. So basically Gonzo's artillery was gone. He had the advantage like on the front line, but on the back lines was not looking so good for him. And this Nebelwerfer was slowly but surely killing things as well. But nonetheless, Gonzo takes the win. Great game by both players. Was very interesting to watch. Let's put it at that. Can you show? Oh, sorry, was a little bit too late. That would actually have been interesting here. True. but I read it just a little bit too late. There's a little bit of delay with the stream and the comments. So I mean, when it's recorded here and when you guys see it. So by the time you read the comments, it's a little bit too late, sadly. Sorry for that. But yeah, it was definitely fun to watch. I think I will end it here because it is tiring, casting and streaming especially. I still, so originally for those who haven't been here before, the original plan was to stream today anyway, and do the practice games that I wanted to do. So I might still do that for 1 or 2 games in the evening. It really depends on how much time I have now because I still need to record a cast to go out on Monday. I haven't done that yet. And I do want to make sure that I have some cards in there as well, not just always my tournament games. I have plenty of those now. But yeah, so I might be back for a little cast in the evening. No promises yet though. And other than that, I think we'll end it here. So thank you all for being here. It was a lot of fun for me. I hope for you too. And have a great day. Maybe till later. See you guys.